Campbell's is a company committed to quality and excellence in everything it does. With close to 50 years in mushroom farming and farms strategically located to efficiently serve all of our country's market areas, Campbell's Fresh is the world's largest grower of fresh mushrooms. We harvest close to 90 million pounds a year in our own farms. Our mushrooms are consistently among the highest quality mushrooms available because no other mushroom grower commits the level of resources or brings to bear such a total systems approach to provide quality, variety, service, and value to its customers and consumers. And it all begins here. Mushrooms grow on composted material, which is usually made up of horse manure collected in straw bedding, clean wheat straw, ground corn cobs, dry poultry litter, cottonseed meal, and gypsum, which is a finely ground mineral. Our commitment to quality begins with the purchase of this composted material. Under strict specifications, we bring only the finest available materials to our farms. The initial raw ingredients are meticulously prepared before mixing. In this mixing process, the compost is then wetted to begin the natural biological decomposition process. These large piles over the next several days are moved, uniformly wetted, and then are formed into ricks, which allow for the necessary aerobic respiration. The continuing biological activity in the ricks creates very high temperatures, often exceeding 140 degrees. The ricks continue to cook in this form for a period of 11 days, during which time they are continually monitored. The ricks are usually turned and wetted every 3 days during this biological cooking process until they turn chocolate brown in color and contain strong ammonia content. The entire critical initial phase of growing mushrooms requires about 40 days to complete, 28 of which are in pre-wet piles and 12 days in rick form in a covered, clean environment. After 40 days of this outdoor process, which is called Phase 1 composting, the compost material is now moved into the next step of the production or growing process. The composted material is conveyed to the filling line. Here, the compost is filled into special growing trays. Careful attention is given to ensure uniformity of fill to a specific depth and weight. Campbell's conducts constant quality control analyses, including pH level, moisture content, and nitrogen percentages. After filling, the trays are placed in these Phase 2 composting pasteurization rooms. These strictly controlled environments, which are unique to Campbell's, regulate such critical factors as temperature, humidity, air circulation, and oxygen supply. This 6 to 11 day Phase 2 composting has two main purposes. First, the pasteurization of the compost to selectively kill undesired pests and pathogens. And second, the biological conversion of the natural ammonia in the compost into the microbial protein the mushrooms need to nourish themselves. After the compost cools down, it is moved to the spawning line for the planting of the mushroom spawn. Campbell's produces its own pure culture mushroom spawn, which is one of the finest available in the world. Campbell's own scientists develop, select, and grow our high-yielding, top-quality white mushroom strain exclusively for our company's use. Our mushroom's growth starts on Petri plates upon which we pure culture the mushroom spawn or mycelium. Rye grain serves as the media upon which the mushroom mycelium will be grown. The mycelium-inoculated rye grain becomes colonized and overgrown with our mushroom mycelium. Once the mycelium is mature enough, it is thoroughly mixed into the top-quality composted material. This mixture is then compacted to provide a level and uniform growing surface. Plastic sheets are then laid on the spawn-planted compost. These plastic sheets limit evaporation from the compost and prevent infection from pest and disease. Campbell's high standards are continually monitored at each step of the entire process. Campbell's research facility has a small-scale operating model of its spawning and casing line in order to simulate, evaluate, and continually improve its growing process. In spawning, this painstaking attention to quality includes constant testing, process monitoring, and the utmost in maintaining a clean and sanitized environment. The trays are now taken to spawn run rooms where once again they are continually monitored for proper growing environments. After 2 days, the compost begins to be colonized by the mushroom mycelium or spawn. In the early stage of spawn run, the mycelium fuzzes from the spawn grains. Eventually, in about 13 to 14 days, it colonizes the entire compost mass. After the plastic is removed, the fully colonized beds are transported to the casing operation. Casing is the application of a peat moss and limestone blend on top of the compost. This sphagnum peat moss limestone blend is wetted. Simultaneously, a specially perfected Campbell's technique called cacking is used to speed the uniform colonization through the casing layer. This 2-inch casing layer serves as a reservoir for the moisture necessary for the growth of the Campbell's high-quality mushroom. These trays are then transferred to growing rooms, where they will remain for about 50 days. The delicate and complex mushroom growing process prompts Campbell's quality-conscious growers to exercise the greatest care in providing the correct moisture levels, CO2 concentration, relative humidities, and air and compost temperatures. About 10 days after casing, the white mushroom mycelium has grown sufficiently to reach the casing surface. Then the growing rooms are quick-chilled or flushed. This promotes the fruiting of the mycelium into what will become the white, high-quality Campbell's mushroom. Flushing drops the air temperature from 75 to 62 degrees Fahrenheit, lowers the humidity from 98% to 85%, and replaces the carbon dioxide in the rooms with fresh air or oxygen. About 3 days later, the mushroom mycelium starts to mass together. These star-like masses expand into mushroom pins, which are the swiftly growing young mushroom fruit bodies. In a couple of days, these pins explode with growth into buttons. And then, only 2 days later, these buttons develop into mature, harvestable mushrooms. Mushroom growing is a demanding, exacting process in which picking or harvesting mushrooms usually begins about 2.5 months after the initiation of Phase 1 composting. Here are the high-quality, bright white, clean, first break Campbell's mushrooms finally ready for picking. Campbell's extraordinary commitment to quality is once again practiced in the harvesting phase of mushroom farming. Picked by hand by its thoroughly trained full-time staff, Campbell's harvesting standards are impeccably followed. Mushrooms are picked within the guidelines of Campbell's exclusive one-touch pick-and-pack harvesting system. Pickers, wearing rubber gloves to avoid bruising or blemishing the mushrooms with the natural enzymes found on the human hand, select and pick each mushroom individually. They remove them from the casing material by carefully twisting them free. The mushrooms are evenly trimmed with specially selected razor-sharp knives and gently placed directly into the retail package. Our delicate mushrooms are minimally touched by human hands. The ongoing Campbell's quality control system is apparent even at the point of harvest. In line with Campbell's overriding concern to only select those mushrooms that are perfectly ready for the consumer, all of our mushrooms are selectively harvested for quality and size and then quickly transported to the packaging room. When the selected quality mushrooms are all picked, the beds are watered. About 7 days later, another brake of mushrooms appears and is carefully picked. This process is repeated up to 4 times, after which the natural nutrients in the compost are depleted. Then the growing rooms are sealed and steam is injected to raise the compost temperature to 160 degrees for 10 hours in order to sterilize the room and its contents. This spent compost, which is only used once by Campbell's, is discarded. Campbell's harvested mushrooms are kept cool during every step of their journey to the packaging room. In the packaging room, refrigerated to strict Campbell specifications, the mushrooms are gently taken through the packaging process. This careful kind of handling reduces bruising and maximizes supermarket shelf life. High-speed packaging equipment is used to reduce the time our product is in the packaging area. This equipment is designed to avoid any bruising or heating up of the product. While most other growers heat their overwrap to seal it, Campbell's Fresh wraps the product with only minimal heat reaching the package. Even the labels are lightly blown onto the package. No other company takes such care with its mushrooms. The mushrooms are overwrapped with plastic containing breathing holes which allow for air exchange and prevent condensation. Individual clear plastic containers are carefully placed into shipping cartons designed to reduce bruising and keep the product cool. The cartons are then placed on pallets and are strapped together to reduce product bruising during shipment. An additional step in the cooling process called vacuum cooling is utilized right after packaging. Reducing the temperature quickly after packaging is vital to maintaining the Campbell's Fresh quality the consumer wants. The process of vacuum cooling takes mushrooms at 60 degrees Fahrenheit and reduces them to around 40 degrees Fahrenheit in less than 30 minutes. This process seals in freshness, and Campbell's maintains that freshness by enforcing strict temperature controls throughout the shipping process. Finally, the pallets are moved to refrigerated areas awaiting shipping to stores or warehouses. After the cartons are carefully loaded, the trucks leave the farm, bringing fresh mushrooms to market, usually 24 hours after harvesting. These state-of-the-art trucks are equipped to monitor and maintain proper temperature levels continuously during transit and are designed to deliver cool air to the product using the latest technology. In summary, Campbell's Fresh utilizes a total systems approach to growing, handling, and marketing the highest quality fresh mushrooms. This systems approach ensures our commitments to excellence and quality in research, in cultivation, in harvesting, in post-harvesting handling, and in marketing. As you have seen, Campbell's takes every step necessary in what is the formidable, exacting, but ultimately extremely satisfying task of growing the very best mushrooms available anywhere.